Hey guys, welcome back to Latin. Today we'll be talking about the term accusative. Now, an accusative is just a fancy term that we use in Latin. Just like how we previously talked about how nominatives are the subject, accusatives also have their own use in Latin. So let's go ahead and take a look. Haec est Camilla. We learned last time that the subject of the sentence we refer to as the nominative. It's just referring to who is doing the action. But let's look at this new sentence where we have more than one thing. Camilla phelem videt. So let's take a look at how the sentence is structured. If you were to look in your vocabulary list, you would see the word phelis. We don't see the word phelem, but we do see the word cat with an M at the end. What's that all about? Well, this M is a specific type of word. It's in the case accusative. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means it's your direct object. Well, the question is, what's a direct object? Well, if we know the subject is the one that is doing the action, the direct object is receiving the action. So in English, the direct object in I like cake is cake. Because what is it that I particularly like? I like cake. So we have Camila, which is the nominative that we've learned, sees, and what does she see? She sees a cat. Now, let's take a look at my next sentence. Phelis Camillam videt. Now we see that phelis again, but now we see that Camillam has an M at the end. What we're seeing is Camilla has a different form. If you have an M at the end, that is the direct object or the accusative form. So we have phelis, the cat sees Camilla, which is a little bit different from Camilla seeing the cat. So let's take a look at them. You'll see that Camilla phelem videt, Camilla is doing the action of looking at the cat, but in Camillum phelis videt, the cat is looking at Camilla. So what are the similarities? So here's my happy chart I've made here. The nominative is the subject. We discussed this previously, and we know it's the one doing an action. And your subject, it's either going to end with an A, an us, an IR, or an ER. But the direct object, or the accusative, is the one that is receiving the action. And you'll notice it's just tacking on the M at the end. So, for example, magistra is the nominative form, but magistram is the accusative form. So let's go ahead and see if we can see it in the us, IR, ER form. So in this next section, we have to figure out who is doing what. In my first sentence, I have Marcus Camillum videt and Camillum Marcus videt. We know that the M is the direct object. So when you translate that into English, it's going to come after your verb. Since Marcus is my nominative, I know Marcus is doing something. And what is he doing? He is seeing Camilla. Let's see if we got that. Perfect. Marcus is in fact seeing Camilla. But there is one slight problem in Latin that comes if you are a native English speaker. So let's look at Camillum Marcus videt. As a native English speaker, we want Camilla to be doing the action because she's the first word of the sentence. And in English, that's how you can tell who the subject is. However, that you'll see something. Camillum is in the accusative case. It ends with that little M there. So she is not the subject. Marcus is. So you'll see that Marcus is still seeing Camillum. Both of these sentences are said in a completely different way, but both of them say the same thing. That's because Latin doesn't have word order, and you don't need word order when you have the case system. If you can see, oh, that word that ends with an M is my direct object or my accusative, I always know what it is, and it doesn't matter that it becomes at the beginning of my sentence. Just because Camillum comes first does not mean that she's doing the action, because I know that Marcus is doing it because he's my nominative, and Camilla is the one being looked at. So let's talk about what we learned today. 1, word order. Latin doesn't have one. It commonly uses a subject, direct object, and verb form, but it's not always there. And because of that, they have the case system. The case system are just different terms to refer to different parts of speech. So by part of speech, I mean either the subject or the direct object. The subject is the person doing the action, while the direct object is receiving the action. And we've learned the cases names, or the names of the parts of speech that we refer to in Latin. So if we're talking about a subject, we're going to use the term nominative. And if we're talking about a direct object, we'll use the term accusative. Bye guys, see you next time.